In this video, you are going to learn how lists work in Python Advanced Edition. You already know the basics of a list. You know how to create it, you know how to access it. Change it a little bit. However, there are still a lot of things that are really important to understand when working with lists in Python. And because of that, I've made this second video, the advanced part. And in this video, the second video, I'll cover list comprehension, the one that we left previous video, sort and reverse a list, search and filter an element inside of a list, copy a list, join lists, and finally some special tricks to avoid bugs in your code. Another thing I want to add before starting is that everything is in order, just like the previous video, so don't go skipping. With that in mind, let's get started with the video. Where we stopped in the last video, the list comprehension, we didn't really understand what it is. You know that the syntax is something like this, and you could put print x for x in list. The list is this, I don't know, I don't remember which list it was. You are going to firstly come here and create a list. The my list is going to be equals to choco, banana, eggs, sugar, something like this. And a list comprehension is all about creating a new list, making a loop through the list, make some condition if you want to make a small list from a bigger list. Got it? I will repeat, make a smaller list of a bigger list. We are not going to use the list comprehension syntax. We are going to use the poor syntax that we've been doing up till now, and only then we are going to start using the proper syntax. So we're going to come here and create new list. It's going to be empty, obviously. Then we are going to use a for loop, item or x. It usually is x because it's faster, and I want you to start getting used with that. Of course, you can use item. It's easier to understand, but speed is also good. In my list, columns. Now we need to make a condition. If we find the letter, let me check, and some letter that's repeated in two of them, A, the A. This way we are going to get the banana and the sugar. So if A inside, so in from inside, you get it? Learning English with Diogo, Veigas, relax. And then we come here and X, instead of actually selecting the list, which we don't have an A, we don't have any element A, just A, but we have items with the A inside, so we are going to check for the items. And then you can put new list.append. Remember how to add an item at the last position of a list, and then put here inside the item itself in the parentheses. And then you just need to print the new list. If it works as I just explained, it is only going to show the banana and the sugar. There we go. The new list has the banana and the sugar. Now if you want to convert that last piece of code into list comprehension, we can use something like new list is equals to, put here the square brackets, and now we are going to put something like x, which is the expression, what you are going to put, what is going to be equals to new list, for x in my list, the loop here, the iteration, don't forget, so expression and loop, that's what you have so far. And then the last thing is the condition, and if we use the same condition, it's something like if a in x. And this is the last comprehension that we've just made previously. Now if you put print new list, you get the banana and sugar the same way. I'm going to give you some more detailed examples, not really used in real world, in your apps, probably, but it is going to be easier for you to understand what to do and what a list comprehension can actually do. And yes, list comprehensions can do much more than you might be thinking. Here, this is the syntax of list comprehension: the expression, the iteration, and the condition. It only happens when the condition is true. That is why when I put A, it only gets the banana and the sugar. So let's try to make a more specific example. If you have here a list called numbers, that's only going to have the x for x in range 10. The range is going to go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 10 doesn't go. So we are going to loop through 0 to 9. And the value that we are going to store is x. And since we don't have here a condition, it is always going to be equals to true. So when you don't have condition, it simply works, doesn't matter. Then print numbers 0 to 9. However, there's another thing that you could do as an example. You could copy this and add that special condition. And that condition, I'm going to put something really easy. If x divided by 2, we get the rest of 0. So if it's even, we are going to store it. If it's not even, we are not going to store it. In this way, since 0 is obviously even, we got the 2, the 4, the 6 and the 8, because they are the only even numbers in the range of 0 to 9. Another thing is that you don't really need to store like that in the numbers. Let me show you guys. Main list, which is going to be equals to Diogo, Veigas. Create a new list equals to the list comprehension, and this list comprehension is going to, as an example, start X. So you need always to put here the iteration, so X in main list. However, without condition, just forget it, we can put dot upper. And what this will do is make all the letters of each individual item to upper. So you don't really need to store the item just as you got from the main list. You can change it a little bit. See? You can actually change it a lot. You don't even need to use it. You can simply put here hehe and put two hehe's. And now the list is simply hehe's. The for, the iteration is only going to be used to determine how many elements there are, and you put the hehe for the number of iterations. And do you see this expression here? You can even add conditions in the expression. Let me show you guys. There you go. Now we are going to use the new list is equals to the list comprehension of if x divided by 2 is equals to 0. I'm going to put 2. 2 if it's even. Else, so if it's not even, if it's odd, I'm going to put 1. Then you are going to put for x in main list. In this way, if we print the new list, you can see that we get 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Why? It's pretty simple. Since we don't have 0, we start by 1. So 1 is odd. The 2 is even, so put 2. Now the 3 is odd, so 1. You could also put 1, 0, 1, 0, or it's up to you, but this way you could see that we could use ifs, put conditions inside an expression of the list comprehension. Of course, this is even less used. You don't need this at all. However, you can do it. It's a possibility. Now let's learn how to sort and reverse lists in Python. So in this way, let's just make the list a little bit confusing, and then this is not ordered at all. But if you put main list, the name, dot, the connotation of the function from lists, sort, we are going to print after the sorting, and you can see that it got sorted. However, this is ascending, in the ascending order. If you want it to be sorted in the descending order, just put reverse equals to true. In this case, you can just simply enter the bigger first, the smaller last. After sorting in both ways, you can also reverse the order. Now I'm going to do it strings, which is, well, different. Strings equals to Diogo, Veigas. Then if you put here strings.reverse, print strings, you'll have the Veigas first and then Diogo. It simply reverses. It doesn't matter the order. But if you come here and put another, again, here another string, so I'm going to put here A, B, D, C. Imagine that you by some reason you don't remember this. You can simply use the strings.sort, you sort it, because it's a list, and then after it you can use the string.reverse, and then print the strings. This is going to have the exact same result. It's because it's not string but strings. This is going to take the exact same thing as you would with the sort and reverse equals to true. The only thing different is that first sort, then reverse. So it is going to take more time and more resources because it will use two different functions. It's going to take a little bit more time if it's a large set of data. Then let's also search and filter those lists to find that element. And we are going to create here list. I'm going to create here my list. It's going to be equals to Diogo, Veigas, man, hello. As you can see here, we have 4 things, it doesn't matter. And if you want to filter this somehow, you can check the if value in my list. And this would only be true if any item like that in your list. And this should be what you were looking for when removing stuff. Remember that if you try to remove an element by a value that doesn't exist, it will give an error. However, if you first make this verification, it will work. You can use a variable that's going to be dynamic, or just come here and put Diogo. Then, if it finds, you can print concatenation, guys. I don't need to put this. It's not a dynamic value. Diogo was found. And then have an else, not found. And this should return Diogo was found, because, well, there's a Diogo. However, if you don't have a Diogo, if you put Diogo only, you can enter it again, and it was not found, because there was no Diogo in there. Another thing that you could do, is instead of making this like this, you can come here and use the mylist.remove, and then put here the Diogo. I'm going to even put a value that's going to be equals to Diogo, Here I'm going to put the value to be even more dynamic, put here the value. And then here I can put not found. And by doing this, we are going to remove if we found, and if we do not found, we will just say that we did found. This is not C, guys, my bad, guys, my bad, it was my bad. Diogo was not found. However, if you put here Diogo, we are also going to print the list after it, so my list. If we do find a value like that, we are going to delete it, and we are going to see that Diogo isn't there, only the Veigas, the main, and the hello. There is also another function really like the remove, but it's only meant to find an index. Instead of removing, it is going to return the index of the first occurrence of that value in an item in the list. If you come here and just change index of the value, right, my list, okay, we can put these inside the print. And if we put the Veigas this time, which is the first position, it should show something like 0. Let's try it out. It returned 1. Why, guys? That's pretty obvious, because up here we are already assigning the list again. That's why the Veigas it's in index 1, the second position. Then I'll give you another example, which is with this something I just stole pretty fast. It's the filter function, which is going to receive a function and a list. The function is going to only return even numbers, and the numbers go from 1 to 8. So it's going to return 2, 4, 6, and 8. And you are going to return every single number in num, which is an item of this filter, that's even. However, the filter will make it possible to not waste loops. It will only make the necessary loops because it's going to be like a list. This filter here is going to return the list that obeys these rules. So we enter it and we only receive the 2, 4, 6, and 8. The rest doesn't even exist. We do not run through not valid items. Very good while working with large sets of data. Then let's try to copy lists from one to another. But why would you want to copy lists? It doesn't make sense. It does. Imagine you have here the main list with some specific values like 1, 2, 3, something like this. And then you also have the show list, which is a list that you only want to show. And this is going to be equals the main list but sorted, because you want to show, or even better, you only want to print this function sorted. This works, but it doesn't, because we need to sort it outside and only then do the function inside. Because basically this function doesn't return anything. This way you are changing the list and you don't want to change the list. That's why you want to probably copy lists. Of course, there are multiple ways of copying lists, and to do that you just need to put main list, or even better, the new list is going to be equals to the main list dot copy. The copy function needs to always be the right side of the equals, the one that you want to copy, not the new one, the old one. And then if you print the new list, you're going to receive the value of the main list. And then you can work with the new list, sorting it up, reversing it, it doesn't matter. Now you can do whatever you want with it. Instead of this one, you can also use the new list is equals to the list main list. You can also copy it like this way, using the list function. Or even with the list comprehension that we just covered. Nice list is going to be equals to the x for x in main list, and then print the nice list. And this way it also returns the same thing, okay? Pretty simple. Almost reaching an end, we're going to look into some ways of joining two lists. Imagine that you already have this nice list, so the nice list is going to be something like banana and bananum. Not like that, it doesn't really matter. You can do it by making like a sum of it, so main list is going to be equals to main list plus the nice list. You can do it something like this, then print the main list. This is where we added them. You can also use the same way, but with the new list. So you don't need to change the actual value of the original list. Another way you can do it is by using the loop of the for. An example, for x in nice list, the second list, okay? Then you use the main list dot append. So we are going to add every single item of the list to the main list, and then you just need to print the main list, which appended everything. And there we go. You can also use the extend. It's pretty much the same thing, okay? You can come here and use the extend, so main list.extend and use the nice list. Let's just refresh this and enter. Well, it was a little bit slow. My computer is really fast, but it isn't. And we return the same thing, just as I said. It suddenly got really pretty dark in here, right? Well, I've just turned on the lights, but I'm sorry for the time, but it is what it is. Okay guys, let's continue with the video. We are reaching an end with the final tips and tricks. The first tip is really simple. It's always try to use this for here, not like this. Let me show you guys. If you try to put here print, doing it this way is way better than, as an example, do something like main print and main list and then specifying an index out of nowhere. If it's introduced by the user, it's even more dangerous. Always make sure that you make the respective conditions. If you really need to do this, try to do something like an if and check something, because this way you are never but never going to reach this error that I'm going to show you guys, the index out of range. And this is a pretty common error, pretty common mistake. So always make sure to use the correct forks, correct loops, even list comprehension, which will help you a lot while working with data. Another pretty nice example is the list of numbers, for number in numbers, so every item is going to be number. You could also put something like this, of course. The thing here is that if you use an assert, the assert is going to always check a condition. If that condition is not true, if it's false, right, it will show this error. But wait, it's not like that. In this example, we have if it's bigger than 0, blah blah blah. So if it's any number smaller or equals to 0, it will give this error. And here we go, trace back most recent, you got assert. This is very good when you are doing very big applications and you want to verify that specific thing that you are not so sure about, and ask the tester, or even you test yourself the program and try to find a case. The condition ends up being false, and it can't be false, like people having no name, by something being too big or too small or to something. With this, it's everything. If you didn't understand something about the lists in Python from the first or the second video, or if you found something wrong, leave a comment. I will try to help you out or to make something more clear. I'm Diogo Veigas and I'll see you in the next video.